One phone call can easily send a community into chaos. Colorado saw another example of that this week as several schools were put on lockdown Wednesday after another round of swatting calls.
Those calls came exactly a week after 17 schools saw similar threats faking active shooters. 9 News reporter Steve Stager just got back from Durango where one of those calls happened. And Steve, you can take us inside like one of the drills, the response to this?
Yeah, it's an all-out response, all hands on deck. The city police, the sheriff's office, even wildlife officers all responded to Durango High School back then. Now, through an open records request, we got a recording of the call and body camera of officers responding in force to that school. We want to warn you, you're going to hear the caller pretending to be an active shooter and even playing a recording of gunshots. And then you'll see police responding. Again, this was a hoax call. There was no active shooter, but this is what happens when a call like that comes in.
Durango La Plata Communication Center.
It only lasted 40 seconds.
This is definitely one of the scarier calls that I've had.
But this short call will stick in Naomi Marquez Smith's mind for a long time.
Hello, I'm about to go in Durango High School. I have an AR-15 and 5 bombs with me. I'm gonna shoot every kid I see in that school. I'm walking in now.
I get the call and immediately, my heart sinks.
She's been a dispatcher for less than a year.
Sir, where are you right now?
But handled this call like she's been on the job for a lifetime.
My first thought was maybe I can convince him not to do this if I could, or stall it in some way so that somebody could catch him before he walked in.
And I'm gonna shoot everybody I see.
Sir, hang on just a second. Can you not go inside right now? Can you just talk to me for a second?
I was definitely freaking out on the inside. My heart started beating really fast. I was just thinking, oh my gosh, these kids, they're gonna get shot. My brother goes to that school.
Hello?
I was able to get the call out pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
There was myself and 2 other officers that basically sprinted out of the door here and bolted over to the high school as fast as we could.
Officer Sam Kohlberg's body camera captures it all.
So as soon as we activate our lights, it activates our body camera.
During that 3-minute drive from the PD to the high school,
Yeah.
he tries to focus on his training with emotions creeping in.
Definitely some anxiety, that's, as a police officer, that's a call that you hope you never have to respond to. And we're evaluating our threats. Is somebody in the school right now? Are they still outside? What's going on?
Officer Kohlberg is no stranger to calls like this. He grew up in Brighton.
Growing up in that era after Columbine, it's sad.
Durango Police Department, if anybody's in here, make yourself known.
He knows you have to take this stuff seriously.
Every time, no matter what, we respond as if there is one, because you never know.
His chief does too.
When a call like this goes, everything gets dropped. Everybody goes.
Durango Chief Bob Rammer says a response like this drains manpower.
Anything else that somebody has in need at the time, it could be a traffic crash, it could be another investigation of some sort, everybody goes.
He started his law enforcement career with the Arapahoe County Sheriff, also in the era of Columbine.
We were there, we knew, we had been training for that, but we trained for it in a different way because it was kind of that unforeseen threat that we, with this low frequency, high intensity kind of thing.
Moving toward you.
Now it's the norm, and it's just like we have to be prepared for this every single day.
We're clear over here.
Brammer says he's proud of this response and hopes the FBI can now track the caller down.
I think the last I heard it went to Florida, and that's the last place it went to, and I think it was a computer-generated type system that was down there.
Understandably angry.
And I don't think they understand what the consequences are for our community.
Just about everyone here is.
It's not a joke, really. I feel sorry for them that's what they feel like they have to do.
So you guys got all this done?
But perhaps the most haunting part of this is the normalcy of it. You can hear a school choir warming up during lockdown, captured on the body camera of an officer in the hallway with a long gun.
The most traumatic thing is just knowing and thinking that somebody could do this, not only call in a hoax saying that they're doing this to innocent children, just at a school trying to learn, but to think that this has happened and it's still a possibility that could happen tomorrow, could happen right now, That's still something that's tough to think about.
So we checked in with the FBI today to get an update on the status of that investigation into the 17 calls last week. They say they have no updates. Durango's chief tells me his officers and officers from all other agencies in that area train together on this at least once a year, and then they debrief after every active shooter event they see around the country to try to figure out what might work best. But, you know, this is a real life situation. He said he was awfully proud of his officers and the way they all responded to this school, even though there wasn't a threat. You've got to treat it like there is one in today's day and age.
Yeah, and how chilling to hear the choir and you talk about the normalcy of this, but this is traumatic. Like, this level of trauma has become normal, not only for the kids, but for first responders. I mean, this is the day and age we're living in.
They're going about their business when there are officers in the hallway, sweeping the hallway looking for a possible threat. It's become such a normal part of people's lives. One of the things the chief said is that he hopes that these situations don't create like a callous, you know, because the tragedy is important for how you respond to something like this. He wants to make sure it's always fresh because, you know, when you have that urgency, you're able to respond and maybe end a threat before it becomes anything bigger.
So grateful for them to talk about this. I mean, you obviously put in the records request to see it, but that's important that they tell us the story and hear from that dispatcher who'd been on the job less than a year.
Yeah, she's incredible. You hear her handle that call so calmly. This is a school, she went to that school, her brother goes to that school, could have been inside at the time. So you think about the things that were on her mind, and she so calmly handles that call. It's incredible.
Wow, lots of respect for her.
Yeah.
Lots of respect. Steve, that was really telling. That was great. Thank you.
Thank
I hope
you.
we don't have to continue to do these.
Let's hope they stop this because the amount of trauma it creates, but to know that we're prepared should something happen is also
That's
very
comforting.
helpful. Yeah.
Thank you.